Monday, April 22nd on the Just Baseball show. We had a loaded slate of baseball over the weekend. We're going to tell you about each weekend series. We're going to try something new where we go through all 15 weekend series that we had and just like a thought on each series. So we're in some way touching on each team in Major League Baseball. Jack, Peter, Just Baseball show. Again, it is Monday, April 22nd, and it's brought to you by
BetMGM, the king of sports books. All you got to do, we're going to download the BetMGM app on iOS or Android. And when we do download it, we are going to use code JustBaseball. Why? You're going to get a first bet offer back up to $1,500 paid back in bonus bets if that bet does not hit. No reason not to load up some of your account, get those bonus bets on BetMGM. Remember, gambling problem, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. Must be 21 or older, and terms and conditions apply. That's what we're brought to you by.
So, did you happen to see the line to meet Bluey in Indianapolis today?
I saw your tweet about it. I thought it was hilarious.
It's crazy. So, I haven't seen Bluey, and I know that a lot of the fathers and mothers of young people that listen to this show have been sucked into Bluey, and they really like it. They said it's like the not the modern day SpongeBob, because it's more.
Explain Bluey to the people who don't know, because I barely know what you're talking about.
Bluey is the it show in the children's sphere right now. It is almost like if you smashed the upgrade button on Dora the Explorer. Like Dora was trying to shove the whole learning thing down everybody's throat, and it was like, whatever. Bluey apparently has some like jokes that are good for adults too. Like adults enjoy Bluey, but the it's another option.
It's SpongeBob-esque, right?
Not
Because I feel like
so
at this age you could still watch SpongeBob and find some of the jokes funny even at our ripe old
Yeah,
age.
but I'd say it hits the audience base that Sesame Street is trying to hit. You know what I mean? It's like it's a young kid show.
Like Elmo.
SpongeBob was like, yeah, Elmo, right? Like what Elmo is Sesame Street.
Yeah, pretty sure.
So it hits the Sesame Street base. Like it is for young people. It's for like age 4 through 8, I think. But apparently it's good programming. The other thing that I've learned about Bluey, they're Australian blue heelers, the dogs. Bluey and his sister Bingo. Bingo's orange, even though she's a blue heeler. But the thing that I've learned is each episode is 6 minutes long, which is like a cheat code for parents because the kid's going to be like, hey, can we watch one more episode before dinner? Yeah, I guess. And then 6 minutes later, it's over. That's awesome. So you can always let the kid win the argument, and it's fine because it's 6 minutes long. But I thought it was interesting. We had I think 8,000 people out for a Paul Skeens start, and then we had almost 12,000 people out to meet Bluey and Bingo.
Well, Bluey and Bingo are obviously bigger pulls than Paul Skeens, aka Livy Dunn's girlfriend or boyfriend, excuse me. That's what every comment we get now on these TikToks that we're posting of the Paul Skeens interview. Nice to see you got an interview with Livy Dunn's boyfriend, and we're talking about Bluey right now. I mean, we're off to
Yeah,
a great start on the weekend wraparound.
he happens to be really good at baseball too.
Yeah.
And this guy, what, 27 punch outs and 12 2/3?
Mm.
Cheat code. Cheat code right now. It's insane. But let's get into the weekend wraparound. Here's what I did. I've got each series. I've got the result of each series. So like the first one that we're going to hit on is Houston and Washington.
Mm.
Astros won the series 2-1. So we're going to like kind of get into that. And we're going to push forward with a thought that we may have had from this series. It can be an Astros thought, can be a Nats thought, can be an overarching thought, can be multiple thoughts. And I'm going to kind of tee you up for each of them. And then I'll fill in the cracks of where I feel like you missed. But let's just start right away with Houston and Washington.
Before
Astros won the series.
before we get into it, this was a new idea that I had when Jack and I were talking to each other, because normally on every Monday we'll come together with like 6 or 7 big takeaways and we'll dive deeper into each individual one. This time and moving forward, we're going to do its shorter analysis, but we're going to be talking about every team.
Yeah.
Now, I always want feedback from our audience. So if you're watching this currently right now on YouTube and you want us to go back to the other way we were covering the weekend, we'll do it. If you like this new way, let us know in the comment sections, because all we want to do is give you, the people, the best baseball podcast possible. This is a new idea. If you like it more, we'll do it more. If you don't, we won't. So see if you like it.
See if you like it. I also misspoke. Washington won the series 2-1.
Hell
Sorry
yeah,
about
they
that.
did, because the Astros blow every lead that they get nowadays.
Yeah, that was tough. The one that Washington won wire to wire was the one that spurred my main takeaways from this. My big one is rehab starts don't matter with a guy that's 41 years old and is already going to Cooperstown and Justin Verlander. Like we can slam the panic button on a start with the Frisco Rough Riders all we want, or like what are we doing here? Or not with Frisco. He was at Frisco with the Corpus Christi Hooks all we want, but like Justin Verlander was awesome in his return to the mound in the regular season for the Houston Astros. So, like that's whatever. The one that I really have the takeaway on is Sunday. Hunter Brown struggled again. I think it was 4 innings, 3 earned. But Mitchell Parker, time to respect Mitchell Parker, people. Through his first 2 big league starts, 12 innings, 2 runs, no walks, 12 Ks. And against the Houston Astros lineup on Sunday, 7 shutout innings, 3 hits, no walks, 8 Ks. I warned you about Mitchell Parker. I said it's weird.
You
And
did.
wouldn't you know?
And when you're totaling those 12 innings, those other 5 against the Dodgers, where he performed well too. Riley Adams had a good series. CJ Abrams is apparently Barry Bonds. He hits a home run every day. I need his over 37 and a half stolen bases. He did get his 4th stolen base in that series, but he has 6 home runs, Jack. He can't steal bases if he hits a home run every game. But that's my own betting thing from a baseball perspective. CJ Abrams is looking like one of the best shortstops in the league. If the power is here,
Yeah.
he's hitting over 300. He's going to steal bases. He's playing good defense. I mean, this guy's a problem right now.
So he's looking like one of the better offensive shortstops in the game right now. I think it was Cespedes Family Barbecue that put out a note like they need to find who coached up Bobby Witt Jr. defensively for CJ Abrams, because if he gets even a little bit better defensively, he's a 5-win guy year in and year out.
Probably more.
Offensively, this dude is dynamic.
Dynamic. He can do everything that you want on a baseball field. Yeah, I did say he was a good defender because I do believe he is a good defender. Has he performed well defensively so far this year? No, he is not. But from the offensive side, Nationals fans, I was talking shit about them at the beginning of the season, before the season started. I thought they could potentially be one of the worst teams in Major League Baseball. And when I say one of the worst, arguably the worst. And they have been anything but. They go into Los Angeles. They have a great series there. Then they come into Houston. Same thing, fighting against Ryan Presley. So I don't know whether to praise the Nationals or to shoot down the Astros for Ryan Presley again. Always blowing it. It's insane. Why is that?
I don't know. So I ask you again, where's your level of panic on a scale of 1 to 10 or 0 to 10? Because you said 0 last week.
It's still a 1 or a 0. I'm not going to panic until May because it's still April. But it's at a firm 1 now. It's at a firm 1. It's not a 0 anymore, but it's a firm 1. I cannot fathom this.
I'm telling you, if I just laid out and didn't say anything to you, I feel like you could convince yourself you're at a 3 right now. If you just thought about it and thought about it.
Because the offense is too good. They get Verlander back. Christian Javier going on the shelf certainly doesn't help. He was scratched from that start, which then forced Hunter Brown to make the start. Not forced, that sounds kind of weird. But Hunter Brown stepped in instead and obviously didn't perform well. But if Javier goes on the shelf now, with Framber still there, they got a problem on the mound.
Yep.
And
it was neck discomfort, I think, for Javier.
Yeah, neck.
So at least it's not an arm. At least it's like a different part of the body.
I mean, a neck ain't good either. I don't know what that means.
Good. Yeah. We're gonna get to another part of the body too, and a thumb ain't good. Mets. Yeah. But let's jump to the Red Sox and the Pirates. Boston sweeps. You can say whatever you want about the Pirates right now. They are not playing their best baseball at the moment, and I think Greg Brown, who was on the TV broadcast on Sunday for the Pirates, said something along the lines of the Pirates can't do anything right now. And that's totally fair. And I'm sure that so many Pirates fans are feeling that. I do want to take this moment to pump up who the Boston Red Sox are on the mound. because they're having an identity crisis of sorts offensively. Why the hell is David Hamilton playing all these games? Bobby Dahlbeck is swinging and missing at everything. Tristan Casas just hit the IL, and he said he's in, quote, a lot of pain, which is tough to hear. MRI today on a apparent rib strain. But they've got a 2.52 ERA as a staff. That is the best in baseball by nearly half a run. Only the Tigers and the Yankees have a sub 3 ERA with them. Their starter ERA after Winkowski started on Sunday is 1.73. That is the best in baseball. Phillies at a 2.25. They got the bump this weekend. More on that in a moment. And then Kansas City's at a 2.94. But the Boston Red Sox are at a sub 2. So time to give Cutter Crawford his flowers, Tanner Houck, Garrett Whitlock. Brian Bayo is fourth among starting pitchers on this team in ERA, and he's at 304, if I'm not mistaken. How about the start from Nick Pivetta, too? That kind of bakes into that recipe.
But then
But we should,
also the last couple of times to the rotation, Pavetta hasn't been in there, and they're still rocking the best ERA in baseball.
yeah, I know, man. It's fine. So, like, the starting rotation has been the best in baseball to this point. Does it lack sex appeal? Yeah. Will it lack sex appeal in June? Maybe not. Maybe
Maybe not.
these guys are all breaking out at the same time. And I would love that for Red Sox fans because they've been dealt blow after blow. So, credit to the starting rotation. I also want to shout out two relievers. Took a while for Greg Weissert to really find a home. I think he's got a home in that Boston bullpen. He's nasty when he comes
That's
in, man.
that's
And then
sweet
Rule
for
5 pick Justin Slayton.
him.
Everybody ID'd him right after the Rule 5 pick, right after the Rule 5 draft. But the fact that he has ran with this after Boston left Thad Ward unprotected and Ward floundered with Washington last year, it's kind of nice to like feel the heat on Thad Ward and then ace the Rule 5 pick with Slayton. I love the dynamic with those two in that pen and that starting rotation, man. It's frankly unbelievable right now.
Even moving Chase Anderson back to the bullpen as well, because he was kind of a spot starter sort of with the Rockies, but he also, I mean, he's 36 years old. He's been around the league. And the fact that he has 2 saves already for the Red Sox, rocking a 2.77 ERA, and just in this last Sunday game against the Pirates, 2 innings, 21 pitches, efficient, and locks down the door. Also pretty good series offensively from Masataka Yoshida. Good to see him hitting because you look at Red Sox social media and they want him gone, but he had a good offensive, at least series, right? A bomb, a couple of RBIs, couple of runs scored, hit like 500 for the series. Wilyer Abreu did the same thing too. Did you also see, I think it was the last game where Pablo Reyes was playing first and O'Neill Cruz was on first base? And it kind of gave Judge versus Altuve type of vibes. It's just funny seeing Pablo Reyes, the first baseman, being that
They're
small, with O'Neill Cruz, the shortstop, being 6'7".
they're piecing it together offensively, man. And like that offense needs a jolt in some form or fashion. I don't know where that jolt is coming right now, especially if Casas is out for an extended period of time. But yeah, man, I like credit to what they've found. Cam Boozer, too. Shout out to you, Cam Boozer. And if you don't know the story, there's been a ton of great written stuff, but 31-year-old, um, I mean, there was a shot of him crying after his outing. He threw an inning in Pittsburgh over the weekend. This guy was out of baseball entirely, and he was a carpenter. He got back in. He played indie ball in 2021. He was nails for the Chicago Dogs. And then he jumps back in. He spends all the last year in Worcester. This year made 4 appearances in Worcester, got the call. And like those types of stories are why we love this game because you can go do carpentry for a couple of years and come back and still figure out a way to be a major league reliever.
I was hearing that story that he just, once he figured out he could throw in the 90s again, he's like, screw it, let me try this again. And now he's making big league appearances for the Boston Red Sox. It's an
Let's give it a
incredible
whirl.
story. A really bad story is how bad O'Neill Cruz has been. I don't mean to transition over to the Pirates, but
No, I
damn,
mean,
it's just I turn on Pirates games to watch him, and I just watch him strike out every at bat.
yeah.
He's what is he? I think he has like 22 strikeouts in his last 40 at bats.
O'Neill Cruz at this point, and I want to point at O'Neill Cruz and Henry Davis right now because Davis is sneaking up a storm at the moment right now too. They are 11 and what 10 or 11 and 11. I think they're
Or
11 and
11 and
10 now.
11.
After love. So they're 11-11. O'Neal Cruz entering play on Sunday had punched out 36 times in his first 21 games, 89 plate appearances, 36 punchouts. It's a K rate over 40%. O'Neal Cruz was hitting 214 with an OPS under 600. Henry Davis entering play on Sunday, 17 games, hitting a buck 82 with a 524 OPS. He's slugging 236 through 17 games. If those two aren't going to produce, you don't really have much of a shot offensively.
Well, you could move Joey Bart to the 3-hole and change
they're getting
change
close to
everything.
doing it.
I know they are, which is a crazy sentence. O'Neal Cruz hit 8th today.
I know, and Henry Davis was out of the lineup. They opted for Bart over Henry Davis again.
As they should. Joey Bart's hitting 313, but Henry Davis couldn't hit water if he fell off a boat right now.
Yeah, it is crazy. Speaking of not being able to hit water if you fell off of a boat, let's talk about the Chicago White Sox getting swept by the Philadelphia Phillies. You ready for a rant?
Yeah.
You ready for a rant? I don't do this often, but like, here's a rant, Peter. I just want to read off the lineup on Sunday afternoon, and I'm going to go through the OPSs for each of these guys. Thanks to Codify for putting this screenshot on Twitter. Nicky Lopez led off with his 461 OPS. Robbie Grossman hit second with his 527 OPS. Eloy Jimenez, who's missed some time, was in the 3-hole with his 395 OPS. Gavin Sheets, shout out to you, man. Cleanup hitter, 865 OPS. Andrew Benintendi was in the 5-hole with a 392 OPS. Kevin Pillar in his 701 OPS in very limited time. Lenin Sosa hit 7th. He's got a 367 OPS. Braden Shoemake hit 8th and played third base with his 457 OPS. And batting 9th and doing your catching, Martin Maldonado with an 057 batting average and a 194 OPS. A couple other notes. The Chicago White Sox as a team this weekend hit 138 through 3 games. The Philadelphia Phillies starting pitching combined for 22 and a third innings. Nola went 8, Wheeler went 7 and a third, Turnbull went 7. In 22 and a third, 6 hits, 2 runs, both against Nola, 5 walks, 22 Ks. If any AAA hitter wants a shot, if any guy who's DFA'd wants a shot, get ready to try the Campfire Milkshake on the south side of Chicago. This is the worst offense that I've ever seen watching baseball. I'm not being hyperbolic. They are a historically bad offense. Congratulations. You reached deeper depths than the Brooklyn Superbas in 1907? 7 shutouts in the first 19 games. That's an unfathomable number. I started following baseball really closely in 2008, I want to say, when I was 10 years old. And of course, I didn't, look at Baseball Reference every day when I was a 10-year-old. But man, I've never seen something this uncompetitive in my life. Not just from the White Sox. I'm talking visitors come to town and I'm told they suck by my parents. No, this is next level of suck.
You just talked about the offense. Beautiful, by the way. I enjoyed every second of that rant. We going to talk about Garrett Crochet's ERA going up to 6 now? Or Nick Nastrini, the new White Sox guy. Maybe we heard a little bit about a White Sox, the pitching lab is starting to get there. Gave up 5.
It's not a lab, man. He's been there for 6 months.
I'm just following Elijah Evans, our guy on Baseball. I follow his Twitter. Elijah, and I catch up. He's hyping up a lab here, and I'm not seeing no lab. I think fans of a team who are 3-16, or what are they? 3-16 now?
I think they're 3-17 now.
Pedro
Grifol said it's gonna turn.
No, they're 3-18.
We
were both wrong.
Pedro Grifol said, "Yeah, the record sucks, but it's gonna turn." Is it gonna turn? Are we sure?
He's also been a terrible manager.
Yeah, no.
Have you noticed his decision making has just been awful? Like it's on every. It's
real
everything.
Quick, when is he making decisions in a tight game? Like, show me a point in a tight game this year that he's had to make a decision that will alter the course of a win. The losses have all been uncompetitive.
Yeah, that's a good point. I guess I was more thinking because I haven't watched a White Sox game from start to finish in about a week and a half because what am I going to go watch? I'll watch some starter against them, but
You're
outside
going to
of that,
watch the opposing broadcasters try the campfire milkshake at Guaranteed Rate Field.
yeah, I mean, from all levels, right? You even hear the broadcast. The guys aren't having fun in there. I mean, they're just sitting there being like, we don't have any Major League Baseball players on this team. And when Luis Robert went down, what are you going to do? But shout out the Phillies. Alec Boehm with runners in scoring position. He went from I hate this place to arguably the clutchest player in Philadelphia, especially when my Knicks are kicking the shit out of your 76ers Phillies fan. Don't remember that. Jalen Brunson, baby.
It's the spring of Brunson.
It really is. But Alec Boehm is hitting 386 with runners in scoring position this year, 14 RBIs. I think the next closest is, I think, Bryson Stott or Brandon Marsh or one of them. I think they only have like 6 or 7 RBIs. He was huge that on that Friday game, multiple home runs. The Phillies offense, Nick Castellanos had a great series as well. But again, Trey Turner did as well. I mean, what are my takeaways for the Phillies here, Phillies fans? I'm sorry. You guys are obviously a good team, and you went up against a trash can of an organization from top to bottom right now. Move on to the next series. You beat the shit out of a team that you should have. You can only play who's in front of you, and the Phillies beat the shit out of the White Sox.
So we jump to the Bronx now. Yankees take a series against Tampa 2-1.
Yeah, we haven't lost the series yet. It's pretty cool.
How about that?
Yeah.
Saturday afternoon. What was that? Was that a 1 o'clock first pitch? Maybe a 12:30 first pitch?
No, it was 1 o'clock. Yeah, Judge bobblehead night and John Sterling got an 83-inch TV. I thought that was so disrespectful. That gift. That was so disrespectful. Are you kidding me? The guy worked for the team for 30 years and he gets a TV from Costco?
More than 30 years, wasn't it?
No, I think it was around 30 years.
I saw he did over
Maybe
what?
36.
It was like
I think it was in the
5,400.
30s. Whatever.
Yeah, but
He
like he
worked
did over
for multiple
5,400 games.
decades and we're getting him a TV?
He
I know the story is that he has so many TVs in his room and that's kind of his thing and he loves watching baseball like that. I get it, but come on, John Sterling gets a TV? Embarrassing from the Yankees, honestly.
It was tough.
Like,
They had to turn something around quickly because like the announcement came very recently.
give him a check for like $1 million or something. I mean, I don't know. I mean, a TV?
It is 83 inches. I would love an 83
Cares,
inch.
dude. It's a TV. Get him something way better. He deserves so much more. But the series is not about John Sterling. I was very disappointed with the Yankees.
So I looked at the day-night splits offensively. I was expecting to see the Yankees like perform at a dismal level during day games. It wasn't the case. They're OPSing like 707 as a team. I think that's like 10 to 15 range in Major League Baseball at this point. But that Saturday game, it felt like I've seen that often. And I'm curious your thought as a Yankee fan. It was they were on cruise control with a level of nothing offensively on Saturday. But shout out Nestor Cortez for being on cruise control as well. It may just be me, but I feel like whenever I turn on the Yankee game, that's like the first game on the big league slate that day, it goes by in a flash, and it's like a 1-0 game.
I see what you're saying, and it definitely seemed that way, but the Yankees always get pieced up by Zach Eflin. Like, Zach Eflin is just the man. The Yankees are an extremely patient team. They're one of the league leaders. They might still be in pitches per plate appearance. What is Zach Eflin known for? Filling up the zone. So guys who fill up the zone against the Yankees are either going to get bombed or they're going to dominate. And Eflin is a guy who fills up the zone and dominates the Yankees. Now, it was a night game, and Tyler Alexander was cruising against the Yankees. I was at that game. But then Juan Soto came up, and that terrible Rays bullpen came in and blew it. And it was a close game on Sunday, but another series win, and especially against a team like the Rays who always play the Yankees tough. They're just a tough team. I'm surprised there wasn't a fight. There always seems to be some sort of fight in that Rays-Yankees series, but thankfully we got out of there with a series win. But the Rays are tough. They just are.
They're tough. They're scrappy, but they're not great right now. And it's kind of unique seeing Tampa be not great at this point.
Yeah, I mean, their offense isn't fully healthy. Their pitching staff is kind of the runts of the litter, considering
I think their
who's on
IL
the
pitching
IL.
staff is better than their active pitching
Exactly.
staff.
And they seem like they're in over their head in terms of spawning these relievers because their MO has been, we're just going to get this guy that you've never heard of. I remember when they got Jake Diekman right from the White Sox, who put up a 70 ERA with them, then goes over to the Rays and looks like a great left-handed reliever. That's what they do, and I assume they're going to be out on the deadline looking for those type of guys. But right now, this Rays bullpen is their issue. Because the offense, I mean, Ahmed Rosario is the best hitter on planet Earth, apparently. Ben Rortvedt, who played about 15 minutes for the Yankees over 3 years, and then goes to the Rays and is now their catching option over Rene Pinto, who can't hit, and good thing they have Ben Rortvedt. But overall, this Rays team is good. The Yankees are just better, unfortunately.
Yeah.
The Yankees are just better.
So,
but it's so funny. The Yankees won that series. Luis Gil was great, but it was just Juan Soto offensively that won us this series. I mean, it's really just been him.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
With how dormant Judge has been, it's kind of nice to rely on another outfielder.
It's crazy to see how bad Judge has been.
Pay him. Hey, Soto.
But it's the same thing. It's like, am I worried about Judge? Am I worried about the Astros? Am I worried about Bryce Harper? No.
I'm less worried about Judge than I am the Astros. I will say that.
Yeah, I mean, because it's already, 7-16 is tough to.
Yeah, I saw a note from Just Baseball from our Twitter account. Yeah, I saw a note from us from our Twitter account.
I like how you said that. I saw a note from Just Baseball. It's like, this is us.
I will say no team that has started the season 7-16 has made the postseason.
But wouldn't the Astros during this mini dynasty of theirs be the team to?
They would do it. Yeah, they'd be the team.
They'd
be the team. Speaking of the Rays spawning relievers, Robert Stevenson parlayed his Rays tenure into a 3-year deal with the Angels. Mm-hmm. Robert Stevenson missing the entirety of the season with an elbow issue. The Angels go to Cincinnati and get swept 3-0. Elly De La Cruz.
Angels fans just got hit with a fucking 1-2 from you. They just got the left hook, then the right hook. You remember the reliever? You signed him with a 3-year deal, out for the year. Then you got swept. All right, let's hear the rest of the takeaways.
But like, Elly De La Cruz is amazing. We're talking about a guy that's flirting with a 10-10 month, 10 homer, 10 stolen base month. He's amazing. I hope Frankie Montas is all right. He took a comebacker off the elbow. He had to leave after, I think, 16 pitches. But the bullpen for the Cincinnati Reds pieced it together and finished off a sweep on Sunday. Cincinnati's got something cooking now. And as you see the Pirates slip, the Reds are getting right. And I know it's so early, but everything that we were kind of preaching during the offseason in regards to Cincinnati is unfolding at this point.
And TJ Friedel's going to come back soon, but it was also good to see Tyler Stevenson hit the ball hard for once. He did not have a good year last year. I think all of us over here were kind of out on him. Now it's just one series, but the way he was hitting was that Tyler Stevenson that was in top 10 catcher ranks. And how about Jose Soriano of the Angels, though? I know, quickly switching over to them.
Yeah.
95-mile-an-hour splitters? I mean, I know he's been nasty for the Angels so far this season. And I watched his first start. I didn't see a 95-mile-an-hour splitter from him. So he was nasty, but it wasn't enough because the Reds, especially a Great American, when they can get on you fast, they get on you quick. And especially when the bottom of the lineup is producing. Because one thing if Elly is doing his thing at the top, but then you get to the bottom and it's 3 quick outs, that's why I think Tyler Stevenson hitting is so impactful for this team to elongate the lineup, because then you get TJ Friedel back and there aren't easy outs in the lineup really anymore. And then that's when the Reds offense comes to play. We see the rotation is finally healthy. And then the bullpen, I'm so glad you brought it up, because that was also the story of the weekend for the Reds. That bullpen can maintain. These starters can reach their potential, and the offense is deep. This is the team that Reds fans were hoping for.
Peter, who's got the most wins in baseball?
The most wins? Like the team?
Yeah. Which team?
Guardians.
The Cleveland Guardians just swept Oakland.
They're the best team in baseball. The Braves are pretty good.
Braves have a higher winning percentage. I think the Braves are like 15-5, and Cleveland 16-6, and somehow that comes out better. Or maybe Atlanta's 15. I'm not sure. But Cleveland sweeps Oakland. They outscore them 22-7 at Progressive. Josh Naylor might be the guy. I'm sorry. I'll wear it right now. I'm ready to unwear this L, but I'm wearing the L right now. Stephen Vogt's actually the guy.
He's the man.
He's hit the ground running. Cleveland loves him. Seeing the reaction on social media to Stephen Vogt so far, I mean, this guy's like the most beloved character that we've got in baseball right now. And he's managed, what, 24 games?
When Bybee and Quan came on the pod and we were asking them about Stephen Vogt, that's what made me so excited for Guardians baseball this season, because they were rallying behind him like he was the man, and it was early, right? They hadn't managed a game yet, but we're all on his page. This is how it's going to go. He's the man. He works the clubhouse so well. We're so excited to play for him, and they were being genuine, like they were joking around with each other, excited. It was like going for your first day of school or something, even though first day of school is not. Depends who you are. I feel like you loved
If
first day
you,
of school.
yeah, absolutely. But it's also like in elementary school when you had that one teacher for everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's like if you knew you were getting the best teacher going
Yes,
into that first day of school.
that's a good
It's like,
one.
I can't wait to start a year with this person.
That front four, Quan, who is leading the league in batting average, or at least
What,
close.
375 at this point?
Andres Jimenez is the man again. No shit. Jose Ramirez has not gotten off to a great start, but he's been clutch in big moments. When the Guardians need an RBI, he's, I think, 6th in RBIs in Major League Baseball. So he's still driving in runs. He's being that run producer when those two set the table for him. And then Naylor just hits it home. And Naylor's such a psycho. Do you see when he hit that home run off Alex Wood? Also, that was to win my first 5 Guardians bet, which was huge. He freaking hits his head with the bat. He's a psycho. He's so talented. He's so freaky. He's so athletic. I remember when we were talking with Cal Quantrill and Sandlin, both of them lauded his athleticism, how he doesn't look like that athlete, but he totally is. Josh Naylor's a beast. I've known this. Jack.
I was willing to ignore it for my Isaac Paredes agenda. And I'll unignore it for now, but I'll start ignoring it if he gets cold at any point.
Fair enough.
Cool. Let's jump to Baltimore and Kansas City. O's win this series 2-1. Couple of takeaways. I had fewer takeaways on this series than I thought I would. But Baltimore, KC, Orioles win it 2-1. Colton Cowser's a star, and Cowser's also hilarious. Like, just yeeting save number 422, and then reading the transcript of like the post-game conversation in the media scrum. He's like, yeah, he's got a lot of saves. As soon as I did that, I was like, that one might have been important. And then you had Holiday and Gunnar just shitting on him during the interview. But they got it back. He just tossed it right into the fountain at Kaufman. He just threw it right behind his back. But Cowser has been hitting the crap out of the ball. My other takeaway was we went into the Burns-Reagans matchup saying this is the pitching matchup of the year to this point. This is the game on the calendar in baseball to this point. And a lot of those don't live up to the hype. That one, unfortunately, didn't live up to the hype. We've seen some that are like, oh, this is amazing. Some of those Shane Bieber, Garrett Cole starts where it was Cleveland and New York and it was like a 2-1 game or a 1-0 game. Those live up to it. Cease and Verlander, when Cease finished as the runner-up to Verlander in that Cy Young year in 22, like that lived up to it. But Burns and Reagans just didn't live up to it for me.
I couldn't agree with you more. But at the same time, the takeaway that I wrote down was the Orioles getting 7 earned off Cole Reagans was the best offensive performance of the year so far.
Might have been. I didn't think Reagans looked like Reagans has, but the fact that you can do that even against what might have been 70% of Cole Reagans.
Here's the thing, though. The velo wasn't bad. Like, he was leaving a couple pitches middle, but there was also a couple of pitches that the Orioles bats did damage on that were good pitches. They were on him from the get-go. I thought he had his stuff. His velocity wasn't down at all. Spin rate wasn't down. Nothing was wrong in the data. The Orioles just came to play. They had a plan against him. This was also the second time that they faced him this year. So to make those adjustments and to beat the living crap out of one of the best lefties in Major League Baseball right now on the road, incredibly impressive. This Orioles team is just a problem. I mean, Cole Irvin versus Seth Lugo. Cole Irvin doesn't allow a run.
They're a problem if you don't like baseball. But if you like baseball and you like vibes and aura, then they're not a problem. They're just something you can lean into.
When I say they're a problem, I more mean for the rest of the league. Like when the Orioles come to town, you have a problem on your hands. The fact that they were able to do that It's the adjustments. Because Reagan's pitched well against them last time. But to do that, 701 and 2/3, that's probably going to be the worst start of Cole Reagan's entire career.
I don't know. Like, there's a lot of baseball left on his book.
7 earned and 1 and 2/3.
Those are some Hunter
I'll
Brown
come
numbers,
out right now and say that's going to be the worst start of his career.
Okay.
I don't
This
know
guy
how that's
has
not
had
fair.
some.
1 and 2/3, 7 earned. That's a horrible start.
It's a really, really bad start, but like there's a lot of baseball left on that guy's book. So I don't know. Jackson Holiday is really struggling. 1 for 30.
I mean,
It's tough.
you
And
see how he's getting beat. Everything up.
I wonder if they can even contemplate sending him back to Norfolk optically.
Nah, you don't send him back to Norfolk. You just keep running him out there. He's going to figure
Dude,
it out.
he's
He's the
getting
number one
below.
prospect for a reason. Yeah, but it's
He's
so
getting.
early. It's so early. And they are a team that can afford it right now.
It's
With how the rest of
30
their lineup
AB.
is hitting, Adley's hitting, Gunner's hitting, obviously. Anthony Santander, I think he had 3 doubles in that second game. He had an incredible series. They have so much offensively that you can afford to keep Jackson Holiday and just run him through it. It's going to take a little while. He's so young. He's obviously got a problem up here, but he's got to work on it. And he will, and he's going to win a batting title one day. But right now, it doesn't look good. We see this all the time with these rookies. It's like we can't give them a second. Remember the saying I say? Give the man a second.
I
Give
know,
Jackson Holiday a second to get going a little bit. He'll be
and
totally
it's like
fine.
giving the boy a second, right? Because he's 20 years old. But
Yeah, give the boy a second.
there's a difference between 1 for 15 and 1 for 30 in my mind. 1 for 30 is a
So what should the Pirates
tough.
send down O'Neal Cruz because he's freaking 1 for 30 right now, basically the same thing. No,
Yeah, but
it's
it's a
just
different situation.
you would send him down?
I would start thinking about it. I think if he puts together 20 more bad ABs and he's 2 for 50, I would think about it.
I mean, if we're getting up to 2 for 50,
He's 1 for 30, man. Like that's really not good.
I know. I just you I I just think the Orioles can afford it.
I actually don't think you can do it. That's the point that I'm making. I don't think you can do it. You call up your number one prospect in the game. He's got to figure it out up there.
Yeah.
But I just wonder if they feel like they have other options. Like, hey, why wouldn't you just bring Connor Norby up and have him play second base? Like, I don't know. It's tough. I think because he's the number one prospect in the game, because they have so many eggs in that basket, understandably so. Again, he's the best prospect in all of baseball. But like, I think their hands are tied. I wonder if they even try and attempt to untie their hands.
I doubt it. I mean,
I
I
doubt it.
think they're also it's the optics of bringing up your the number one overall prospect in baseball and then sending him back down, but like I'm saying, the Orioles,
They're
they're
fine.
so gifted
Yes, you're right.
offensively that it's like if their 9 hitter is getting out every time, well, 1 through 8 is hitting anyway, and they just took 2 of 3 from the Royals at home, and it's tough to beat the Royals in Kansas City. Even when they weren't good last year, they were a tough home team. Now
Okay.
this year, they're even better.
Okay, but simply put, if your 9 hitter isn't hitting and you have the option to replace him with a 9 hitter that can hit, are you going to replace him?
Yeah, I mean, when you put it like
Word it
that,
like that,
that
yes.
makes sense, but it's not going to happen. I mean, it's the Orioles are not in a spot to do it. I think you got to still give Jackson Holiday more time. Now, if your point comes up and he's 2 for 50, okay, we can have that conversation
And
later.
I don't think that's going to happen. I'm not rooting for that whatsoever. I want this guy to have a 4-hit day today or tomorrow, whenever he's in the lineup again. But this is tough to watch.
I think it's almost a conversation for 2 weeks from now. If he's still like this, then we'll revisit. But right now, I can't put much stock into it. I know that he's just getting beat up. Let's see you make the adjustment, Holiday.
Yeah. And it's got to happen soon.
Yep.
Detroit and Minnesota. Tigers win the series 2-1. Kerry Carpenter has arrived. That's the only thing that I've got from this. A great weekend. If you don't know about Kerry Carpenter, get to know about Kerry Carpenter.
Just hits righties so well. I think he's got an 1100 OPS against righties this year. Dude just mashes them. He's got some splits problems, though. He's definitely not great against lefties, but you put his bat in a lineup and you got a righty on the mound, you're going to get a good piece of hitting almost every time these days. Kerry Carpenter's a problem. Riley Green, Torkelson. you see what the Pirates are cooking offensively. They're still a bottom 10 team against righties, though, overall, because the bottom of the lineup just can't do anything. But if we're talking about lineups that can't do anything, the Twins are a disaster right now offensively with no Royce Lewis, no Carlos Correa, and no Max Kepler. That's why I can't say the Twins offense is bad because they're clearly injured, missing 3 of their 4 best hitters in the lineup. But right now, this version of the Twins looks terrible. Luckily, Kepler should return soon. He was slated to potentially return on Sunday, didn't, but he should be back this week. I think we got good news from Royce Lewis as well. Correa, we're still working through, but this Twins offense right now, I mean, outside of like Trevor Larnach, they can't hit anything.
I just watched Kepler for a week, and it was good, not great in AAA.
Rehab. I mean,
Rehab, I know, but
he'll
there
be
are some rehabbers that take the world by storm, and he just wasn't.
Yeah. I mean, overall, you know the Twins rank by WRC Plus against righties this year?
Bottom 5.
29th out of 30
There you
teams.
go.
You know where they rank in home runs against righties?
Bottom 5.
Bottom 2, 29th. They have no juice right now. It's embarrassing to watch this offense go to work every day.
So they were hoping to get juice from Matt Wallner, who is 2 for 25 with 17 Ks up there. I watched Wallner go 0 for 6 with 4 Ks on Saturday. It's a tough one. Like that St. Paul team put up 12 runs and he didn't contribute at all. It's tough. And like, did he run into a ball and send it 440 on Thursday? Yeah, sure, absolutely. But man, like it's strikeout city. Otherwise, those 3 true outcome guys are hard to watch, man.
How about your Casey Mize? Looked
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
97. The splitter was working. The slider was pretty good, but overall the splitter was unhittable and the fastball was up in the zone. And I want to give him a ton of credit, but like I said, the Twins offense is such a disaster that I don't know who to give credit to.
Yeah, but it's a big league. It's a big league team that
Big
he
league
did it
lineup.
against,
Yep.
and Casey Mize just went 6 shutout and got a win. And it is so fun to see that guy be successful.
100%. And it's so cool to see him throw gas again.
Mm-hmm.
Casey Mize, I remember throwing 92, 93. And we were just thinking to ourselves, dang it, the kid from Auburn who was blowing gas with the unhittable splitter is gone. He ain't gone. He's
He's
here.
back.
And he's just getting better and better each start. So
Yeah.
far, I think he started the year off with a 3-earned run, then 2, then 2, then now 0. And he's just working into it. This guy could be a great addition for the Tigers. A pitcher that I don't think Tigers fans fully put in their plans for this year. I think
They
they were
don't
all
know him.
hoping. Yeah, they were hoping. But now that you got him, and then that bullpen is still number 1 in baseball in ERA. Dominant.
Milwaukee, St. Louis. Brewers sweep the Cardinals. Sonny Gray, 6 1/3, 2 runs, 12 Ks, 1 walk, and he was the losing pitcher.
That was his first earned runs of the season. The Cardinals might finish last, and he wins the Cy Young.
The Cardinals are pitiful offensively
Embarrassing.
right now.
Embarrassing. I mean, this is just an embarrassing team, and I love the Cardinals. Cardinals fans, you know this.
I want them to be so good, so
we want
bad,
them
man.
to
But
be
like
so good.
Nolan
They
Gorman
won't.
is laying an egg right now. Like
Their best hitter is Wilson Contreras. Their best hitter is Wilson Contreras.
and he's
Paul
a good
Goldschmidt,
hitter. Don't get
Paul
it wrong.
Goldschmidt can't hit anything right now.
Man, I mean Mason Wynn's hitting 350, but like Walker hasn't figured it out. It's
No.
just nothing is going right offensively with them. And you just it's tough when you spoil that good of a start from your ace that you just paid $75 million this offseason. It's let's get right. Sonny's on the mound.
And
They
it's
just can't do it.
And it's got to suck to watch Cardinals baseball as a Cardinals fan because you're getting good outings from the pitching. Hal Gibson pitched well. Sonny Gray pitched well. Lance Lynn has a 2.18 ERA. And you're still 9-14 because you can't hit. The offense was supposed to be the non-problem. Everything else, they can't get any pitching. The pitching is here. You have to hit to win. That's why I'm so disappointed. Got to be the most disappointing team so far.
I think so. They're bottom 5 in baseball in Team WRC Plus. 83 Team WRC Plus is only ahead of Minnesota, Colorado, Miami, and the White Sox. The White Sox have a 64 Team WRC Plus.
It's horrible. No, I was going to say they're the most disappointing team. The Astros are by far the most disappointing team. But the most disappointing team in the National League, I think, is the Cardinals.
The most disappointing offense in baseball is St. Louis, for sure.
And team. They're not winning.
Yeah, but like
But the offense
you just
isn't.
mentioned it, Lynn's been good.
Yeah.
Gray's been awesome since he's come back. So I don't know, it's just a
Before we
tough
move
year.
on, the Brewers. I
Yeah,
mean,
man.
this team defensively, they're wizards out there without Christian Yelich. The offense is putting up 12 runs in a game. This team is going to win the division. I'm firmly on that track right now that the Milwaukee Brewers, I bet on them plus 800, so maybe I'm a little bit biased. I think this team is going to win the division. I think they are the best team, especially the Cubs split a series with the Marlins. You can't split a series ever with the Marlins and be a playoff
Yeah, but
team. You just can't do
I
it.
feel really good about what the Cubs are going to be in like 2-3 weeks. And also, man, Cincinnati. Like I'm not sleeping on Cincinnati right now.
No, I'm more just making fun of the Cubs.
I
Because
understand.
any team who splits against the Marlins, I'm taking you out of the playoff running.
It's kind of nice that we're actually going to talk about Cubs Marlins right now. They split 2-2 in a 4-game set. Assad and Imanaga starting both ends of a doubleheader and like splitting that doubleheader against Miami is tough.
Yeah.
Javier Assad's awesome.
Yeah.
Imanaga's awesome too. But dude, like you can't lose those tight games like that. And I know it was Brian De La Cruz heroics, but at the end of the day, you just can't split with the Marlins at home. They're
Did you
not
hear
good
that?
enough for that.
Did you hear that story out of Miami? So when Brian Taylor Cruz came up and hit that home run, I think to win the game for the Marlins, Skip Schumacher, the manager of the Marlins, he said, "Let's get a pinch runner ready." And then Brian De La Cruz said, "Why are you going to get a pinch runner ready? I'm going to hit a home run right here." And then he did it. That's sick. That's sick. That's awesome.
I
That's
like that. I like that he called his shot because it's so different than Babe Ruth calling his shot.
Brian De La Cruz, Brian De La Ruth,
Yeah,
yeah,
Brian De La Babe.
Brian De La Babe.
How about it?
How about Roddery Munoz?
He's got some shit, man.
He's got some shit. Wasn't he not good in AAA and then comes up and dominates a Cubs team?
Yeah,
That's
Max
baseball
Meyer
for you.
started over the weekend. I didn't check in on Max Meyer's jumbo shrimp numbers.
I mean, the Marlins don't care about it. They sent him down for a reason.
Yeah, what was that reason again?
No idea.
Load management.
Load management. God,
What are we
what a
doing
disaster.
here?
What a disaster.
Seattle and Colorado, they split 1-1. Game 3 is happening right now. The only thing that I've got from this one, and again, it's really
Quantrill.
hard for me to take things away from a series at Coors Field, but the only thing that I have from this one is Cal Quantrill is going to win the Cy Young. It's Luis Castillo had his bounce back at Coors of all places. Luis Castillo needed to get right, and he went 7 shutout, 2 hits, 1 walk, 9 Ks. A good Luis Castillo is way more fun than a Luis Castillo that's struggling.
Weird when guys have great outings at Coors. Isn't it? It's
Him and
just
Ryan Pepio, man.
you expect it to be terrible, and then I mean that's just the most baseball thing ever. Luis Castillo has been struggling in T-Mobile Park, the best pitchers park in Major League Baseball. Then he goes to the moon in Coors Field and dominates. I mean that's baseball in a nutshell for you. How about Cal Raleigh? I didn't see him get out once. I know he probably did during the series, but when I was watching, he was a man on a mission. This Mariners offense needs to get going, and they kind of did. Still disappointing. Still disappointed in Julio.
They only put up 2 runs in a game in Colorado. They need to be better than that.
They need to be way better than that. Did you see the fan interference on that home run from Jacob Stallings, or what should have been a home run?
Yes.
It's called back in. The Rockies still won that game, thankfully, because they should have.
Also, Jacob Stallings, he needs every home run he can get.
He needed that home run. I mean, that was huge for him, but he didn't get it.
Man,
You gotta be some type of dumb shit fan to bring a glove to the game, which I'm fine with. I don't care what age. If you bring a glove to the game,
up, man.
no, but then like going in front. I mean, come on. Can we? What are we doing? Getting on the fence, ready to catch it. I mean, can we
I
just
don't.
stay back a little bit? Let's not be a part of the play, please.
Here's my thing. You can say that until you're in the moment, and then I guarantee you're just like, oh shit, I'm gonna catch this.
Yeah, it's a good point. It's much easier to sit on the sideline and talk
Yes,
about it and make
I
fun of
don't
that
fault
person than be
Bartman at all. I don't fault Steve Bartman for not assessing the gravity of the situation. He had human instinct. Oh shit, baseball coming at me. I'm gonna catch it. Like, I don't know. That is something I will hang my hat on. I'm never really gonna fault a fan for not playing into the situation at the ballpark.
No,
Unless it's the final out of the World Series. I'm just like, you know what, man? You get it. You get it for sure.
no, it's fair. No, we're still just waiting for this Mariners offense to truly get going, and hopefully this could have been a little bit of a jolt, but it really didn't look like it. But I'm hoping.
Yeah. Arizona, San Francisco in San Fran. It was a 2-2 split. Shout out to the home run ball that landed literally in the kayak. I think that was Pat Bailey. My big thing is Logan Webb is too good to be buried by East Coast bias. If you are up after 10 p.m. and L Webb is starting for San Francisco, just turn on the damn game. 7 innings, 2 hits, no runs, 1 walk, 5 Ks. He's not going to strike out the world. Frankly, that's a more enjoyable watch for me than guys that strike out the world. He uses his defense, he uses his infield. Since the start of the Project the Plate podcast, since opening day 2021, Logan Webb is sixth in baseball in innings pitched. He's third in ERA behind Burns and Wheeler. He's ahead of Garrett Cole, Framber Valdez, Sandy Alcantara, Kevin Gausman, and he's top 10 in whip. He is one of the best pitchers in baseball, full stop. He's always on the mound, full stop.
Just top 10. No doubt about it.
Is he
top 10?
Is he approaching top 5? If he puts together a 200 inning season where he's at a 3 again, is he a top 5 pitcher in the game? I say yes.
Yeah, probably, because it's so hard to stay healthy as a pitcher. And if he does it again, yeah, top 5. So funny. My takeaway from the series is a way lesser known player. And on the other team. Well, he looked great in the spot start for Merrill Kelly. First of all, I hope Merrill Kelly's okay. Got scratched from his start. Blaze Alexander, man.
Mm-hmm.
Diamondbacks need a shortstop, right? Because Jordan Lawler is still hurt. Geraldo Perdomo is still hurt. So they really need a shortstop. And it's been like the Kevin Newman show. And I don't think Diamondbacks fans or the Diamondbacks in general have been very excited to see what they've gotten from Kevin Newman.
You didn't get fired up for Kevin Newman and Nick Ahmed in the same
No, I did not. But I am fired up for Blaze Alexander, who right now is hitting 333, 393, 588 for a 168 WRC plus. He's got 3 bombs in 17 games. This guy always hitting the minors. Finally is getting a shot with the Arizona Diamondbacks and really taking advantage. And it's funny, when Perdomo comes back, you assume that he's going to be slated back in there. But especially against lefties, you need Blaze Alexander's bat in that lineup.
Yeah, I'm with you. He had a hell of a weekend. Mets, Dodgers. Mets win the series 2-1. Wow. They go to LA and they win the series 2-1.
Are you not underwhelmed with the Dodgers yet? Or is it just me who's underwhelmed?
No, I'm underwhelmed with the Dodgers. I will say that I'm properly whelmed by Tyler Glasnow.
Yeah, I mean, the Dodgers have a lot of good players, but as a team, they're not winning games.
That's a problem. You got to start winning at some point.
You have to start winning at some point.
And I think this weekend was kind of the point where I was just like, all right, you have to start winning. But as the newest member of the lifelong Mets fan club, I'm all the way in on our New York Mets. Now, did we take a blow? Absolutely. Francisco Alvarez needs to have surgery on a torn ligament in his left thumb. I was watching the play live. He almost like planted his hand as he was making his way from first to second. It was like a split move, and he kind of used his hand to push, and he was just gripping his left thumb. That's his catching thumb, and that like is a worry. He'll wear a guard when he comes back, obviously. I wonder how he's going to feel. It's also his bottom hand as a right-handed hitter. Like if you're going to tear a ligament in your thumb, you want it to be your right hand, I think, if you're a right-handed hitting catcher. But this robs us of a month and a half, 2 months of who I thought was a top 5 catcher in baseball at year's end. There are a few guys that I'm higher on than Francisco Alvarez at this point. I think this dude is the perfect long-time catcher for the New York Mets. And it sucks that we're going to be without him for a good bit.
Super young, steals strikes, blocks balls, cannon for an arm, can hit for power, can hit for average.
A great defender with a shit ton of juice, man.
We'll take it. We'll take it. It's like their young Mike Piazza, or at least they're hoping someday.
So I was actually just thinking Cal Raleigh, but Piazza works too. He's going to be better than Raleigh. I firmly believe that he's going to be better than Cal Raleigh, but man, I mean, the fact that he's 22 years old and already is on the same playing field as Cal Raleigh.
Mike Piazza is a massive stretch. I'm just trying
Piazza
to get
Piazza also, I don't think was a good defender.
No, he wasn't. And he was also a Dodger for a lot of his career, but whatever. In this series, it's just good to see like Lindor not suck. God, I mean, Lindor had a great series. Starling Marte had a great series. DJ Stewart had a great series. Jeff McNeil, like Brandon Nimmo had a good series. Like the Mets offense is good. They have just been terrible up to this point. not really up to this point, but just really over this last, I don't know, week or so. It's tough when it's so early and numbers change so quickly. I was just so underwhelmed with this Mets offense that's filled with stars. And to see them finally come alive over the past couple of series, giving Mets fans something to root for. And especially with Francisco Alvarez going down, which is definitely not ideal. I'm not sure the timeline on him, but I'm hoping he's back relatively soon. Just to see guys like that start to hit. Like, we need Lindor to hit. We need Nimmo to hit. We need Jeff McNeil to hit. Because Jeff McNeil ain't even providing much anywhere else. So he has to hit. And then DJ Stewart just keeps hitting for them. So overall, Mets lineup, I think, is the takeaway. The guys who are supposed to hit are finally starting to hit.
No. Blue Jays, Padres. What, Toronto won that series 2-1.
Mm-hmm.
Jose Barrios in 5 starts, 31 and 2/3 innings, 3 earned runs. That's a .85 ERA. He's 4-0 in 5 starts, 27 Ks, 9 walks. Opponents are hitting .205 against him, a whip of 1.01. He's finally the guy they paid.
Yeah, remember when we thought that contract was going to be a disaster after that horrible year? And then look at him. It seems like a great deal now.
It was, tell you what, it went horrible deal in 22, good deal in 23, excellent deal in 24 to this point. And we're 5 starts in. He's got 25 more to go, and he's going to make all 25 because that's what Jose Barrios does. But man, he's been so much fun to watch. That was really my only takeaway from this. Aside from that, I thought this was kind of a ho-hum series. It was nice to see Bogarts go yard on Sunday, but man, like, I was hoping for a bounce back from Musgrove. It was good, not great. It's just, I don't know. Like, that was the only thing that I really came away from this series thinking, like, damn, I love Jose Barrios.
I came away with another Blue Jays pitcher, Yariel Rodriguez. Not quite the 7-year, $170 million, but he signed this offseason. He's going to get $2 million this year, $5 million each in 25 and 26, and then $6 million in 2027. Dude's a strikeout artist. He's nasty. His breaking ball is disgusting, and his fastball rides up on you. Hasn't gotten fully worked out yet. His pitch count was around 80 to 85 pitches against the Padres. First start was about 65 to 70 pitches, but he's got 13 Ks in 8 innings. And the Ks, they're racking up here. He looks like that. All right, well, Manoah didn't work. I don't know if Francis is going to work. Yeah, Tiedemann's not ready yet. Who's going to be the 5? Because we got Bassett, we got Gausman, we got who have I gone over? We got Barrios, we got Bassett, we got Kikuchi, and we got Gausman. Who's the 5? Yariel Rodriguez is the 5 and definitive in my eyes.
And while he's building up, Bowden Francis is the piggybacker. Francis got the win in that one. It was 2 innings. It was Yariel went 4, Francis went 2. That's 6 from like your quote unquote 5 starter. If you combine the 2 of them, the only knock against Rodriguez, there were 2 other base hits, but like the only real blip on the radar for Rodriguez was a solo shot from Fernando Tatis Jr. You have to live with that. Yeah. And he pitched in Japan. Like, he knows that, you know, sometimes stars are going to star on you, and you have to be okay with that. And the fact that he was in control over 4 innings was impressive, especially when the second start of your big league career is on the road in San Diego, a place that is always a good environment.
And arguably the star of the show for the Blue Jays offensively, Dalton Varsho. Dude just keeps hitting. It's good to see finally. We were super high on Dalton Varsho. I remember when that trade hit the ticker, we thought, oh, it sounds like a pretty good deal for both sides. We love Gabby Moreno. We think Lourdes Gurriel Jr. is pretty solid, but we love Dalton Varsho's game. Came over, stunk up the place, and started off really, really slow. But this last week or so, dude, I feel like it's a home run every game. He's been electric for them and a much-needed bat at the end of that lineup, which is what can get the Blue Jays in trouble, especially when the top is not doing their job.
Last but not least, Texas and Atlanta. Atlanta wins the series 2-0. Looks like Texas is going to take game 3. They're up 6-3 in the 8th right now against Darius Vines. And Vines has done a solid job filling the void of Strider. I'm not going to get 8 hours of clean sleep every night with Darius Vines as the 5 starter, but there are way worse situations to be in. Travis d'Arnaud, like it's everybody. They're the best team in baseball because some weekends Travis d'Arnaud is going to have 4 homers.
Did
And
you hear
Travis Darno's not sniffing the lineup some weekends.
talk about another really cool story? Did you hear what Buster Olney was saying on Sunday Night Baseball before he pressed the record button?
No.
So Travis Darno hits 3 home runs on Friday and then another home run on Saturday. But that Friday has a lot of significance for his family. So Travis Darno's grandfather passed away last year, and his Travis Darno's dad was going through it, and he wanted to see a sign from his dad. And on the day that he died, his grandfather, Travis Darno, hit 3 home runs. That
The
story
anniversary.
on the
Yeah,
anniversary. I just thought that was an amazing story.
that is cool.
And then he hits a home run the next day too.
Yeah.
That's really, really cool.
That's really cool. So it was a fun one, man. Rangers, Braves. I liked that the Braves won it because this is the reminder that they are the big bad Atlanta Braves. So that was 15 series. I think we just did an hour.
Pretty good. So let us know in the comment section, of course, on YouTube. Do you like the series by series? Do you want us to go more in depth on 6 or 7 individual topics? We'll do whatever you guys say. We're just down to talk some baseball. So whatever kind of baseball you want to be talked about, let us know in the comment sections, or our Twitter DMs are always open. You can find our Twitter in the episode description if you want to reach out to us and say, hey, I like this. Wish you guys talked more about this. Anything like that. DMs are always open for Jack, myself, and Arm as well. We're going to be back on Monday or Tuesday, whatever freaking day it is.
Tuesday.
We're going to be back every day this week. So make sure to rate and review and subscribe on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get it. It's the best way to support this show. Also, get your Just Baseball merch. Jack is finally rocking his hat. I'm always rocking mine. Make sure to get yours in the episode description. This is a guy who wears his all the time. That's where Jack doesn't. Look how clean that looks. Look at how shitty mine looks. But it's okay. It's because I wear it every freaking day. So make sure to get yours in the episode description. For Jack McMullen, I am Peter Apple. We will be back tomorrow with that. Thank you, everybody.